the coaches of the Startup Awards.
That's correct. I'm a TEDx coach,
Yeah.
TEDx Women,
So
doing the Startup Awards.
she knows everything about giving good pitches.
Short pitches.
Good and short pitches.
That's right.
And she's going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do that.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. The whole package matters. The whole package matters. This is Manon. She was one of the startup finalists last year, and she has a company that makes pizza crusts, healthy pizza crusts. And she came to the TEDx Awards very shy and quiet, didn't think she could speak very well, and we worked together over some months, and she nailed it. She nailed her presentation on the stage, on the TEDx stage last year. She didn't win first, but she was right up there. So the whole package matters. What do I mean by that? Well, confidence. Spoken confidence, standing tall, standing with confidence and charisma, even if you don't feel it. You know that expression, fake it till you make it? Well, that's kind of how we have to be when we're nervous. We all have butterflies. Unspoken confidence. When you're in front of a group, when you're pitching, make eye contact with everyone, look confidently, and believe in yourself. That's one of the biggest things that in my work as a coach is building confidence. The content we can work on, the delivery we can work on, but the confidence has to come too. So the first one is confidence. The second one is content. No one wants to hear a boring presentation, right? You've all heard boring presentations at school or in your career so far, and there's nothing worse than having to sit through a really boring presentation. And I was in the corporate world for 15 years as a sales rep. I started by moving to Holland from America to open a sales office and work my way up to global account manager with $1 million accounts. And all through that time, I had to sit through boring sales trainings and boring presentations. And then when I left that, I wanted to start my own thing. I said, what do I want to do? What am I good at? And stamping out the boring is kind of what I'm all about. So the content is also really important. When someone comes to me and says, I want to learn to speak better, can you show me how to stand and how to present and how to use my voice? I said, yes, but first we start with the content. You have to learn how to have good content that's clear and focused and to the point before you can do anything else to make an impression. What, why, how? Whether it's a 3-minute pitch like the Startup Award young ladies have to do, or you, 5-minute pitch, or the Accenture Awards that were some time ago, all short pitches. So you have to learn how to be clear and concise. Even when I say, so what do you do? That should be clear. That should be clear and concise, and you should be able to bring that out right away if someone asks you, what do you do? The third one, the third C, is clarity. Concise and short. Clarity. Blah blah is not good in business, obviously, and blah blah is really not good on the stage or in a pitch, because we want things to be concise and short and to the point. And conviction. Why my idea is better than someone else's. Why should you choose me? We're working on that with the Startup Awards now for 2018. There's 3 finalists. We started off with 25, and then we cut it down to 11, and now we have 3. And it's my job to get them ready to go up on the prestigious TEDx Amsterdam Women's stage on December 6th. And so we're working hard to help them have conviction and confidence in what they're doing. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. That's why I was invited back, to talk to you how to present yourself, and not just how to say the words, but how to make contact with the audience and all the things around it. So that's why I say the whole package matters. And that's what my talk is about today. That's what I want to share with you. So a little bit about me. Some of you maybe know me already. I'm an executive speaker coach. I work with Fortune 500 executives from director to CEO, like Microsoft. I work with Accenture, with Deloitte, Achmea. These kinds of companies are all working with me. And it's so fun. It's really fun to take these executives and teach them how to inspire and be confident and deliver their message with impact. It's really fun, and I'm behind everyone like a mama hen, like with her chicks, making sure that the chicks can succeed and be in the spotlight and make a difference. TEDx senior speaker coach. I've been a TEDx coach for my entire company career, 8 years. I've been with Marion, I think, 7 years as a coach with the main stage speakers as well as the Startup Awards. I'm I'm the exclusive coach, thank you, Marion, for the Startup Awards. So this is my 4th year doing it, and it's as I say, it's so fun to watch them. They're just like you. They're all like you, the young startups, who have a chance to go on the TEDx stage. So there's always an opportunity to reach for that. And I'm an author. I've written a book called Boring to Brilliant, Speaker's Guide. This is my baby. This is my pride and joy. I don't know if any of you have written a book yet, but when you get that box and you open it for the first time and see that book there, it's really an awesome feeling. And this book is having 101 tips in order to just carry on what I'm teaching in a book form. So really excited about that, my first book. And my mission, that's why I'm here with you. One of my missions is to empower women, to empower you to stand up and speak up, make a difference with confidence, and fake it till you make it. That's what it is sometimes too. So here's just kind of a visual testimonial of the speakers I work with. Marion knows all of them. This is the Prime Minister of Aruba, Kim Feenstra, and a lot of other visionaries. And so I have the greatest job in the world, to be able to stand behind these speakers and help them shine on the stage, on that red circle. So here's the 2015 Startup Award finalists. Danique had a company called Nimbles. That is a program for tutors to tutor students. She won first place. This was the 2016 finalists. Alina won. And she has a platform that connects performers with people who are looking for performers. And she was a finalist, but they were all fantastic. This lady here is Anouk. She's an artificial intelligence CIO, and she's a self-proclaimed nerd. I didn't call her a nerd, but she called herself a nerd. And she came to the semifinals in jeans and no makeup and not very confident. And so she said to me when she won the finals, she was one of the finalists, she says, please teach me everything you know so that I can become a better speaker. Even if I don't win, I still benefit from all the knowledge and all the experience of the TEDx. And this was last year. These were the 3 finalists. Here's Manon from the pizza manufacturer, Anka, and the one on the end is Lotta. Lotta was the finalist. She has a product called Cloud Cuddle that she created in the University of Delft. One day, a man came into her classroom. She's an engineer. She was an engineering major. He came into her classroom and said, "My son has terrible epilepsy. Can you make a product for me that will protect him at night?" So she said, "Yes, I'll try." And so she built this bed cover, like an over-the-top cover that's expandable, and you can carry it in a little briefcase. Because epileptic people sometimes fall out of bed and it's not safe. So she won the Startup Awards last year. She was fabulous. And she's taking it even further now. So she's doing presentations, she's a professional speaker, she's doing really well with the company. So I just wanted to show you that anything's possible if you want it, if you stand up and go for it and take the chance. So here's some tips. I only have like a half hour to share some of my best tips with you, so I hope that you get something out of it today. First I want to talk about some things that women do that are not helpful, that are not good for us. How many of you know what the imposter syndrome is? About half of you know the imposter syndrome. Well, this is the little voice in our head that says, they're going to find out, I'm a fake, they're going to find out, I'm an imposter. An imposter means someone who's not telling the truth. And that's that little voice that we all hear that says, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you can't do it. We all in this room have heard that. Every single one of us has heard that little voice at one time or another saying, you're not good enough. So there's a lot written about the imposter syndrome, and this simply means to be aware of it, to be aware of that little voice, that it's not true. It's not true. It's a little voice that tries to protect us. I don't know if you know Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is a kind of a new guru on the scene, a high-level guru, and she says that the little voice does everything in its power to protect you from trying anything new. And trying anything new means risk and danger. So that's what that little voice is designed to do, to keep you from going over that hurdle, keep you from going out of that comfort zone. So imposter syndrome is something that we all have to just be aware of and say, it's not true, and go on from there. They'll find out I'm a fake. I'm a fraud. I don't belong here. I'm not good enough. my accomplishments don't matter. I had that when I got to be that global account manager that I told you about. I had all those things all the time. They're gonna find out I'm not meant to be here, I'm not supposed to be here. I was with all men in this group, and I had to really fight for my position. It sounds familiar, I'm sure, some of us in the room. So we all have this, go through this one time or another. And here are some things that women speakers do that you might find interesting, you might find that you do it. The first one is the worst one of all. You raise your voice at the end of a sentence when you shouldn't go up. You go up. Some of you are laughing. Some of you know people that do this, or maybe you do this yourself. Go up at the end of the sentence. Don't try to be aware of that, and don't do it. Only when there's a question. When there's a question, of course, can I have some tea? What are we doing tomorrow? Questions like that are fine, but not every time when you're presenting, because it shows insecurity. A voice going up often means I am not confident in myself. I am not secure in myself. So watch your own speech. Watch your own talk when you're presenting or in a group presentation, or even when you're at home, when you're with partners or friends. Say, does my voice go up at the end of the sentence? And try to teach yourself to bring it down. Because that's one of the main things that I hear of insecurity, and I can immediately tell that a person's insecure when they do that. Second one is worthiness. It's kind of connected to the imposter syndrome. Am I worthy? Do I deserve to be where I'm at? So people like touch their hair when they're nervous, and they don't know what to say next, so they kind of like go through their hair. Don't touch your hair. Don't touch your hair in a presentation. It shows nervousness. Crossing feet. This is my number one pet peeve that I tell every speaker I come across. Right, Marion? I've been using this one for years. Don't cross your feet, right? I've been telling all the startups, all the speakers I've ever worked with, and I'm telling you, please don't cross your feet in front of an audience. Stand tall and firm on your feet. You can move a little bit, you can move a little left to right, but don't cross your feet. If you're in a networking borrow, networking event, that's a little girl pose, and we don't want that. We want to stand tall, crossing feet. Do you shake a hand firmly when you go for an interview, or when you meet prospective clients or customers? Do you shake your hand firmly? Some of you go like this. Oh, it's so nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. Don't do that. That's part of the package. The package matters. The whole package matters. When you shake someone's hand in business, double pump. Not like a crazy, fireman or whatever. Just nice to meet you. Double pump with confidence, because that also is part of the package about your confidence or not. It may sound silly, but I just want you to be aware that if you're in an interview with a man, perhaps, and you come in with a soft thing like that, that's one of the things they notice. It's nonverbal communication, so it matters. Not able to keep long eye contact. This is also one that we can be aware of, to keep eye contact when we're talking to someone. It's okay to kind of look up when you're having a thought, like, what was that statistic again that you told me last week? But keep the eye contact when you're busy. I'm trying to make eye contact with every single one of you in this room, but not be too pushy about it. Because I don't want to look at you and make you nervous, stare at you, because then you break the gaze. But I do want you to stay with me. And I'm looking for the nod. The nod is also, yes, I'm with you, Barbara. Yes, I'm hearing. You're giving me the nod in the back, smiling. So see, it's being aware of your audience, whether it's a small audience or a big one. Just be aware. Who's on the phone? Who's looking down? Who's not interested? If you were on your phone, and I would notice that you were on your phone, I would kind of move over here. And so the next thing I want to tell you, because I would want you to connect with me again, I wouldn't necessarily say anything to you, but by me coming closer to you, you're not going to go on your phone right now, I imagine, right? I wouldn't think so. Some do, but you prefer not. So these are the things that I've come across. These are some of the things just to be aware of that women do that kind of get in our way. Okay, so here's 6 things that I want to share with you in the next few minutes. How to present yourself. How to present yourself. That's the title of this talk. So content preparation, stage presence and charisma. Delivery is important. takeaway message, Q&A, mastery, and personal pitch. Okay, so these are the things that I just want to touch on, so give you some tips. Okay, so content preparation, isn't this a cool picture? This is in my book, and I think it's one of the coolest pictures ever. What is the takeaway message? Takeaway. What is the one thing you want the audience to take away if they don't remember anything else? Because everyone has short attention, right? You're not going to remember everything I say, and I don't expect you will, but I hope that you take away a few things that you remember from the talk. So what's the takeaway message? Later today, you're going to be asked to prepare your own pitch based on on this, and based on the next session that you got. So what is the takeaway? So maybe keep this in mind for later. And if you're doing a pitch, or you're doing a presentation, or a group thing, what's the one thing you want the audience to remember? Is the opening line wow enough? Opening wow. This is what I call it, because every TEDx that's out there has this. They all start with something unusual or dramatic or sharp or some kind of dramatic opening line. They never start with, hello, my name is Barbara and I'm so glad to be here, right? If you watch any TED Talk, it has its own kind of genre, its own style. So is the opening line wow enough? And when you do that and the others don't do that, then you stand out too. If you're in a pitch contest and you have to pitch with 6 other people to win a contest or something, is the opening line wow enough? The next one is 3 main points. The number 3 is an important number in presentations. People can only remember 3 things at a time, if they remember anything. But when you describe something, when I describe this phone case, I would describe it with 3 things, not with 4 or 5 or 6, because then it dilutes the message of the 3. So the case is leather, it's colorful, and it's protective. It's silly maybe, but I'm just wanting you, when you want to present something and you want to talk about something, only use 3 things to describe it. Because the 4th and the 5th and the 6th are blah blah. You want to limit it to be strong and descriptive of that thing you're wanting to describe. Everybody good? Everybody still with me?
Yes.
I know it's after lunch, it's a little warm in here, so I'm trying to keep it lively and move from side to side. If you're the speaker after lunch, you have to keep that in mind, right? Keep it in mind, because you might lose people, especially if there's a nice buffet with lots of food. And the last speaker of the day, right? You've been here all day, there's like 6 speakers, or maybe at a conference, and you're just like done. What should you do if you're the last speaker of the day? Anybody have an idea? The last speaker.
Energizer.
Energetic. Video. That's right. Start with a video.
Sugar.
Then it'll have a dip. And then
True.
it's over. So just keep it energetic. Keep it lighter. If you have statistics or you have boring content to share, cut out half of it, and only bring the most important things. You have to modify your speech based on where you are in the day. Just something to keep in mind. Call to action. This is also really an important thing in business and in pitching, the call to action. Call to action is the one thing you want the audience to do as a result of your talk. And it comes at the end. It comes at the end of your presentation. The call to action can be, if I'm pitching to you, your management, and I need funding for some project that I'm doing, I say I really need management to support us on this, and I hope that I can meet with you after this to discuss it. Call to action. Or if you're introducing a new product, I'd really love to talk to you more about this when I'm done. Please come see me after this talk, and I'd be happy to give you more information. But always have a call to action, because it also, you have a limited time, but you still have everybody's attention, so you can drop it in. You can drop in a call to action. And the closing wow is just as important as the opening wow. If you watch a TED Talk to the end, you know that many times they take the closing and they try to go back to the opening. They make it circular, and that's a really cool way to do a talk. I'm a TEDx fan from way back, but still, I love that because it connects it. It's like taking a bow at the end of the talk and tying the whole thing up in a bow. That's how I see it. So some people don't waste a lot of time or don't spend a lot of time on the closing. Please do. Please spend time on the closing of your presentations, because it matters. It's the last thing you leave the people with. I'm sure you've heard people say, they're talking, they're doing their presentation, it's going well, and then you say, okay, well, I'm done. Question?
Yeah, is the closing also a summary of whatever you've discussed?
No, that's a review. That's a review. And the review comes above the closing. So the closing wow is the last wow thing you leave them with. Inspirational, lasting, strong, powerful. And with a review, my advice is if you do a presentation longer than 20 minutes, you need a review. Because people aren't going to remember. If it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you don't need a review. But a review, of course, is, okay, so let me just I'm just going to summarize this for you. I'm just going to what are the 3 most important things of today's session? This, this, and this. These are the things I want you to remember. And use catchphrases like that. Catchphrases that makes people's ears stick up like radar. Statements like, so what's the bottom line? What's the bottom line of all this? And then after that, you really have to say something strong because you're setting it up like, radar. She's going to say something important now, so I need to listen. So what's the bottom line? Or at the end of the day, what's the most important thing here? And then you listen, of course. So there are phrases you can use to also grab the attention more. When you go from side to side of a presentation and you go through the light, you get out of the light as soon as possible. You try to avoid the light. It's like acid. Don't be in the light, right? Don't be in the light. And walk purposefully from one side to the other. Confident, right? It's always about the package. It's always the whole package. Confidence. Okay, the next one is stage presence. This is also a cool picture. Love that lady. Oh, she's cool. All right. Practice the walking in. Practice the walking in. If you have a big speech coming up, practice the walking in, setting, and the first wow line. Practice it. Because there's another tip coming that everything is part of the speech. The whole package matters, remember? So practice the walking in, standing, and delivering. And of course, if you're sitting down, and then you have to go to the center, practice that. It's part of the speech, so practice it. It's about stage presence. Walk in tall, purposefully. If you're sitting around a group and you have to present sitting, sit tall. Sit tall, sit confident. Don't sit back and relax like this. If you're around a desk and you're presenting, sitting, sit tall, sit confidently. Make eye contact. I already mentioned that. A good speaker tries to see everybody in the room and what they're doing. If they're on the phone, if they're listening, if they're yawning. You don't want that, of course, but it happens, after lunch and at the end of the day, as I said. Okay, build in a smile. Build in a smile now and then. Because some speakers are so serious and they want to just get it done and they want to share all the information and they forget to smile. But if you probably have seen this. You see a speaker come up to the front and they go, it's kind of too much. It's kind of too much, but smile. And then you go. It's better than this, right? So I'm here today to talk about different presentation skills. Give a smile. Start with a smile. It's like practice the walking in, give them that smile, and then the opening wow. It's little things like this that do matter, in my opinion, as a speaker coach of 150 TED speakers. Stand still. Stand still most of the time. Of course, you can move around a little bit if you feel more comfortable moving. With TEDx, there's a big red circle, so we're obliged to stay on the red circle. And some circles are big and some are small, but you can stay on the circle, or you can move around a little bit. It's just based on style, but don't do it in a distracting way. We don't want anything to distract. Your clothing, your jewelry, your hand gestures, your voice, it's all part of the bigger package. Never say sorry. Never say sorry when you're presenting. If you mess up, if you bumble up a word, if you forget a section that you wanted to say, you are the only one that knows it. You are the only one that knows you may have made that mistake. And if you say sorry, you draw attention to what you don't want them to know because you're the only one that would know it. So the only time I say, never say sorry, unless someone in the audience died of boredom because of your talk. Question?
So what if there's a case where the it's obvious you've made a mistake. Say you're going through slides and you come to one slide and you can't remember something.
Mm-hmm.
Instinctively I'll say, oh sorry, but what should I do in that sort of situation?
Okay, so the question is, what do you do if you make a mistake and it's really kind of obvious?
Yeah.
It's obvious to the audience. Some just impromptu. I mean, sorry, and go on. I suppose if it's really a blunder, it's really a big one. I go, oh, okay, sorry about that. Let me go back to where we were. Just a quick sorry, but not like, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Oh, sorry. You know, like people do that. People do that too. We don't want that. If you do make a mistake, just recover. And if your mind goes blank, it can happen. You know what to do if you go blank? Take a drink of water, good one. Take a moment. Pauses are good. Pauses are not bad. You can take a drink of water and move a little bit and look down. Move a little bit because your mind is cramped up. You're blocked and you can't remember what you want to say next. Your mind is cramped up. So if you kind of just move a little bit, it gives your mind a chance to kind of relax a little bit. So if you're blocked, if you can't remember what you're going to say next, or repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just said again. And that sometimes gets the flow of your mind going back in a good direction. So try to avoid sorry if we can. Say something bold. Stage presence. Because stories stick, right? Stories stick. You probably have heard presentations where you remember it even a year later because someone told a really cool story about something that mattered to you. Stories are important. It's in my job, more and more companies are asking me to help them learn how to tell stories and bring the TEDx style to organizations. So say something bold. Don't be afraid to say something bold. Okay, so delivery. I don't have anything here for delivery, but there's so many things that I could tell. I just decided to just talk for a minute. Delivery matters because if you have good content, but you cannot deliver it well, that's also not good, is it? If you can't deliver it well, if you're shy or you don't make eye contact. Delivery is not just saying the words, it's me connecting with you and me standing tall and confident. The whole package matters. So trying to get that theme. See, and when I say it several times, it's a technique because that's my theme. The whole package matters, so I'm repeating it, trying not to be obnoxious by saying it too many times, but the idea is that you remember it. The whole package matters. So delivery is also really important, how you deliver it and how confident you are.
Sorry, I was just wondering, what would be the difference between stage presence and delivery? So what is?
Okay, stage presence is the confidence. It's like charisma, personal charisma. So stage presence is standing confidently, making eye contact, smiling, making jokes, trying to be fun and interesting to the audience. That's the charisma of the speaker. And that's stage presence.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other one,
delivery.
Delivery is actually getting the message out to them. So the charisma is me, how I am, how I behave, how I am before you. And delivery is getting the content out, more related to content.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's one. You are the expert on your product or service. You are the expert. Whenever you're asked to speak or do a pitch, you have some expertise that they want, or else they wouldn't have asked you to come. Right, Marion? You're looking for that all the time. You're looking for experts to put them on the TED stage. Research, finding people who are the expert in their field and want to share. And if we choose certain speakers, you have something to share. So that's another situation of standing tall and confident in yourself, that you have some expertise in something. You're going to pitch later today, and maybe you will go to a pitch contest sometime soon to pitch your product or your service or your idea. You are an expert on that. So that's another moment to stand tall in your confidence. Okay, so once again, it's all part of the script. Your voice, your body language, your gestures matter. Okay, so your voice matters. How strong you are, how confident you are in your voice, your body language, and the gestures. Now, some people don't know what to do with their hands. What do I do with my hands when I'm talking if I'm not comfortable? What do I do? Well, there's some things that you can do. You can hold your hands in front if you have a clicker. You did that. You held your hands in the front in a good way. Your hands were relaxed. right? Hands at the side or hands lower on your belt, or use your hands to gesture. But be careful if you have a clicker in one hand and notes in the other, you can't really gesture then. So you have to kind of figure out, practice that too. If you're gonna have your own clicker and you have no cards, figure out how that works. And my suggestion is that on the TED stage, you cannot have any cards at all, most of the time. Most of the time it's forbidden. But in business, we can. In business, we can have cards. So my suggestion on how to prepare a talk is to write it all out. Write it all out word for word. And you say, oh man, that's such a hassle. But you're making a master script. You're making a master script dump of all your ideas and all the things you would want to say. Depending if it's a women's group you're talking to, or a management team, or any other group, you have a master script, and then you can change the wow opening, change the closing, put a couple stories in, but you have that master. And when you're preparing for a speech, and you write it all out, and then you just read it. You read it, read it, read it. You walk around your house in your pajamas on the weekend with your dog, and you read it to your dog, or your husband or partner, or whatever, and you just keep reading it, because reading it out loud also makes it more real. Reading it out loud is really important. And then once you're pretty good at that, you have 5 or 6 times you read through it, transfer the most important points to index cards. You know, go to the HEMA and get some cards, and transfer the main points to the cards. And then hold the script, and hold the cards, and do it again. Walk around the room again, walk around the room until you don't need the paper anymore, and you can just go from the cards. Cards are acceptable, cards are fine, except on the TED stage. Helpful, I hope, that tip? Some people don't know how they can prepare. So, and then also in this case, gestures matter. It's this high, this far ahead, last year, so small, going higher. Gestures can also be added to the script. It's not just the words we create, we can put a gesture in. Still be authentic, still be real, not make it fake, but here, breathe. You know, like some of us get really high in the chest with air, like I have that sometimes when I'm nervous. I'll take a moment to breathe at this point in the script. And I have that. I go high in my throat sometimes when I'm nervous. So gestures are part of the script too. Okay? So this one is sprinkle lots of you. Sprinkle lots of you. Any idea what this one means? Sprinkle the you.
Your personality.
Nope. Not your personality. Sprinkle the you.
The word you?
Something to do with that. Sprinkle the you.
Target the audience.
Target them. Kind of, yeah. So when you're doing a presentation, take the time to have you statements. I'm sure you have heard of this. I'm sure you can relate to what this is. So drop you statements into your talk to connect for a moment. I'm sure you've had this happen. Did your car ever break down late at night on a highway? Mine did last weekend. Try to relate to your audience with you statements. So sprinkle the you. Is that clear? That's my number 1 tip for a corporate that I share. So I hope that one's clear. Everybody okay?
Is that also part of interactive design?
Yep. Yes. Build it in. Build it into the master script. Yep. Okay.
Barbara, sorry for interrupting. If you want to have more time, it's okay. You
Oh,
don't have to
okay.
be-
Quarter till?
You can go for till 55.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think it'll be okay. I'll finish it.
Just you don't have to.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep going, and I'll be as
Fine.
concise as I can as well. Okay. Keep your cool no matter what. We've already discussed that, kind of. What happens if you make a mistake? What happens if you lose your place? What happens if the laptop stops working, or the internet goes down, or the video doesn't work? One of our speakers last year in the TEDx finals, the startup finals, she was so great, and she had a fabulous presentation, but she decided that she wanted to put a video into her talk on the main stage. I said, please don't put a video in, because you can never control it. You know, the gods are not always with us in this kind of thing, especially in this important moment. It was the finals of the TEDx Amsterdam Women Award, and I asked her not to. No, this is really important. I need to put this in. It's really important. And of course, what do you think happened? It didn't work. It malfunctioned. It didn't work. But she did something also not very good. She just stood still and didn't say anything. So she just stood there, and she didn't pick it up. She didn't pick it up and keep going with the stuff. And I'm her coach, and I'm like cringing. I'm trying to go under the table because this is like a pause that you don't even want, you know, every coach's nightmare. But she didn't pick it up, and that cost her the win. I heard later that cost her the win. So if that ever happens, have a plan B, right? Plan B. Stay cool, and if it does happen, so as I was saying, say, okay, well, maybe the video's not gonna work, so let me just go on. So we learn from our mistakes, right? Just learn. We all learn from that. Okay? Okay, Q&A mastery. Q&A. Some of you are in situations where you have a Q&A moment, right? Where you're on stage and someone asks you some questions. So this is important too. If you're pitching and you're doing it before a jury, they're gonna have questions for you, right? Usually gonna have questions. So if you're pitching and there's gonna be a Q&A and you know it, prepare 3 questions that you think the judges might ask. Prepare 3 questions and answer them. Answer them with keywords, Like if someone says, well, how is this feasible? How can you make this, really work? Well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. So keywords at the front of your answer. So prepare 3 questions and answer them. It's like a mini speech, mini talk, right? And this is a prepared speaker. This is a polished speaker. I don't know if you've been to any of these pitch events where the speaker's great and the presentation is fantastic, and they get to the Q&A, it's like, I don't know, right? We don't want that. It's mini speech. It's part of the speech. So be prepared. When asked a question, move away. So, if you ask me a question, or maybe I'll do you because you're closer, I don't want to go on the light because it's asking, right? You ask me a
Oh,
question.
you meant that light, I thought
That
you meant
light.
the beam.
The beamer light,
Okay.
like this, stay
Yeah.
out of the beamer light. It's acid. Okay, so you asked me a question.
Where are you from?
Okay, where am I from? Well, okay, that's not what I mean, but if you were to ask me a question, the idea, normally speaking, is that I would go closer to you, and I would really want to give my answer. I feel like I'm an expert, and you asked me a good question, so I really want to impress you and the audience. So I come right up to you and like telling you all the things and all the answers. But that's not what we should do. We should not go closer to the person. We should make more space. We should make more space to the person and include the whole room. Include the whole room in the answer. So, because there's nothing worse than a big room full of people and someone asks a question and we just have a one-on-one conversation and the whole rest of the room gets bored, and it's the speaker's job to keep the attention, right? Keep the audience engaged. So just casually, carefully move away as far as you can. That's like reasonable and not looking stupid, right? So you move and make some distance. So I answer your question and I share it with the audience. I answer your question, eye contact with you, but I also look at everybody in the room. It's better. It's better than just having this one-on-one thing. And always repeat the question. Repeat the question that they're asking, unless there's a microphone and everybody in the whole room hears it. Because it's also not nice if she asks a question and then you all in the back don't hear it. Like, what was the question? So as a speaker, you say, okay, so the question she asked was, no. Oh, okay. And then you go on and answer it. So just, I'm just grabbing some tips from my everyday world that I thought might be interesting for you. So Q&A mastery. Keywords first. This simply means, as I said, when you're giving an answer to something, have those keywords of what you're trying to say. Well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Always have those keywords at the front as part of your pitch, as part of your personal pitch. And everything's in 3s, so I have 3. Okay, I'm almost finished. This is part 2 of the speech, be prepared. Okay, so that's Q&A mastery. Okay, one more important concept I want to share. I think it's only one. The art of receiving. This is in the new book. I'm publishing my 2nd edition of The Boring to Brilliant in January. So this is one that I want to share with you from a metaphysical point of view. Is it okay if I just take a moment with a metaphysical tip? Everybody okay with that? Okay. The art of receiving. So this means when I'm on the stage, and if you clap for me later, which I hope that you will, clapping is a gift. Clapping from the audience is a gift for the speaker. But a lot of speakers are so nervous to get done with their speech and to get off the stage, they run. They run off the stage. And we're still clapping, and it's kind of like, well, where did she go? She was so good, we want to clap for her, we want to give her this gift. But a lot of speakers don't get that. So what I suggest is just stand and receive the applause for a minute, even if it's uncomfortable. It's the same thing with compliments. When someone gives you a compliment, you did a really good job on that project, that was fabulous. Oh, well, no, it wasn't just me, it was someone else too, it wasn't just me. So I'm giving you a compliment, and maybe I'm shy. Maybe I come up to you after an event and I say, wow, that was really good, you really inspired me. You say, oh, no, it wasn't anything important. Then that rejects my gift, And it's like in the grocery store. So I'm at the grocery store and I have 20 things on the Bali, at Albertheim. I'm getting ready to check out, but I have my weekend shopping. And you come up to me with one item. And I look at you and I don't know you, I'm never gonna see you again, I'm just trying to do something nice. And I say, oh, would you like to go ahead of me? Because you only have one. And you say, oh, no, I don't need to go ahead of you, no, I'm not in a hurry. And I'm sitting there like, oh, and I'm like, trying to be nice and rejects my kindness. And you don't have to accept the kindness, you don't have to, but just accept the gifts sometimes that people are offering. Whether it's on a stage with the applause, whether it's a compliment, don't duck and dodge the compliment, oh no, it wasn't me, ducking and dodging. Receive it, because that's what connection is. We're trying to connect with each other and give that nonverbal gift. So I come across this a lot in my work, and I just wanted to share my gift to you. Maybe it makes a difference next time you're in the Albertheim or the grocery store. So resist the urge to run or deflect the compliment. Just let it sink in, smile and receive it, even if it feels a little uncomfortable. Because next time maybe you have one thing and someone else has 20 and they let you go. It's also a karma thing here, a karma issue. It's about self-love. It's about accepting praise. I had one speaker in the TEDx stage, and she wore this big boa, colorful boa, and she was really outgoing, and she was a fashion diva, but she couldn't wait to get off that stage. We worked so hard on her speech, and I was really proud of her. We worked so hard, and she nailed it. But she ran off, like right at the last word, she just was already gone. And I was like, wow, she did it, yeah. Oh, where'd she go? Where'd she go? I'm like, oh man. And that made me think of this. That made me start my journey to try to bring this more out into the world. Okay? What to wear? What to wear? Wear something stylish, wear something comfortable, that you feel confident in. If you feel confident in red, wear something red. When I was going through my corporate career with all the men, I wore red suits, man. I wore red, and that helped me with my confidence. Even when I was afraid doing these big deals, I wore red. I don't feel the need to wear red anymore. So that maybe it's also growth, that I don't need to wear the red. But feel something you're confident in and not too much distraction. You don't want anything that makes noise or makes you look at me and not listen to my words anymore. Something makes you feel confident in yourself. Okay? So here's something else that I came across, and I wanted to just bring it to your attention. I read this on the Accenture Innovation Awards, and I'd like, for those of you that want to take a photo, this one is one to take a photo of when I'm finished with it. It's tips on how to do a pitch, a tech pitch. And the rest of this talk wasn't really tech pitch oriented. It's just me sharing with my sisters how to be strong and confident when you're on the stage. But this one is. This is kind of tech related. You need, the pitch needs to have a focus. Focus on the main thing that you want to say. Clear and easy to understand. It can be implemented internationally. Karina, that was one of Karina's things in this article, and I have the URL article for you when I'm finished with this. It's on the screen. Okay? Show that it's feasible. It has to be feasible. How are you going to implement it? How will you put it into practice in everyday life? What difference will it make? What impact will it have? This is for technical pitches or different kinds of pitches these days that you might be doing. Talk about the team. Who's involved? Was it just you? Or do you have a team behind you? Because people like to know about the team. I'm going a bit fast, but you can read the article later if you want to. What are the market opportunities? Which markets are you going in for? How do you want to bring it to market? Show emotion, passion, and dedication. This is the number one thing in my opinion. Show your dedication. Show the twinkle in your eye about your topic. If you don't have that twinkle in your eye, what are you doing it for? Right? That's what it's about. That's what the Startups Awards is about. That's what Innovation Awards is about. So these are the things that are written in the article after the Accenture Innovation Awards last week, I think they were. So this is the URL, innovationawards.nl, article 7 ways to a perfect pitch. And those are comments from the jury, from the Innovation Awards jury. So I would check this article out if you're gonna be doing any pitching over the next weeks and months. Okay? So, just about me, this is the new cover of the book. It's coming out, the new version is coming out January 15th. And if you'd like to sign up for my newsletter, I've got a newsletter sign-up sheet. And so I just want to come back to this page again. The whole package matters. I've thrown a lot of tips at you. I kind of talked fast and kind of given you a feel of what it's like to be a speaker coach. But just know that these things matter. Confidence, content, clarity, and conviction, and a whole lot more. Thank you.